Welcome everybody, Submission Fishing Live. I'm your host Muto, home of the Slow Death Jig. We're here for some entertainment, some fishing knowledge. How's everybody doing tonight? Happy Thursday. One day closer to the fishing weekend for many. How's everybody doing tonight? We got a good show for you. We're gonna go over we got the offshore playbook. It's mostly things that I've experienced. I've done a lot of offshore trips prior to doing like kayak fishing and any of that stuff. That's pretty much what I did. I mean, since I was a kid, primarily it was just going offshores, lots of trips, and now having my own boat, doing offshore trips and stuff like that. So I get a lot of questions about it. So just give you things you should do, things you shouldn't do, things that'll help you. So hopefully it's informative and entertaining at the same time. We got some of your questions. As always, got a little bit of news, and I think it'll be a good one, guys. So just sit back, enjoy, or join the stream and join in the chat. I think the fan's good. It's been hot today. Peter86, Oos, what's going on? John Knapp, what's going on, man? Good to see you in here. Izzy, welcome to the show. Ooh, Spinning Water Rebel, Marvin, what's going on, man? I see all that slow pitch gear you've been getting. Spending all that money. Wait till your wife sees that credit card bill. She can be slow pitching you off the side of the deck.
Buy her own setup, and she'll be good.
Get her own setup. Oscar, what's going on, man? Welcome to the show. Dave Rage, Oos, driving home. Drive safe, dude. Glad you're listening. Michael Tran, what's going on, man? Welcome back. Benji in the house, Oos. What's going on, Benji? Salty Dangler, what's going on, man? Glad you can make it. Captain Dan, Oos. Greetings from Morgantown, West Virginia. Another motocross event just across the border in stormy hot Pennsylvania. Man, you're staying up late. Glad you can make it. That's awesome, man. Watching the show across the country. I love it. Joey Bassin, Oos, what's going on, man? Welcome to the show. Glad you can go out with me yesterday. Had a little offshore trip. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Doug Rubin, welcome. Captain of the El Sueño, Sea Samurai, Oos, welcome to the show. Sea Samurai's in recovery. Yeah, dude, I'm in recovery, and I only did the one day. Andre, Oos, welcome. Brian likes to fish. Yo, hey, y'all. What's going on, Brian? Brian likes to fish. You guys want to check him out? He does a show with Roman. They do bait fishing talk on Wednesdays. Look up Fishy Hour. Look up their channel. Brian likes to fish. Also, he's got a boat. He takes a lot of these guys out. Not only that, he is the spotty bull champion of the world. Won the whole tournament last year, guys. That's the man to beat. So if you got spotty questions, Brian's the man to ask. Frank, Oos, what's going on, man? Love the weekly live stream. I love having you guys, man. I love doing it. It's awesome. I look forward to it every day. Not every day. Every Thursday, I should say. Jenny Perez, Oos, what's going on, man? Glad you could join us. I saw you killing those yellowtail out there, dude. You have to give me that story. Tell us how you caught it, how it all went. Kevin headed home. Yeah, Kevin, bring me my keys, bro. Just kidding. We'll pick them up later. SoCal Steve, what's going on, man? Lots of calicos. That's awesome. Better than our my La Jolla trip then. That's good stuff. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, we went out yesterday. Well, maybe we'll go over. Let's do the news first. A few things in the news. The CCA event is this Saturday. So if you guys don't know, it's down in Portuguese. What's that called? Portuguese Hall, Portuguese Market. It's down there in like Point Loma, San Diego. Basically, CCA is putting on an event, apps and taps. It's $75 if you guys want to get in. You get a year membership. Obviously, it's like the name is going to be apps and taps, beers and stuff going on. So it should be a fun time. If you guys want to come hang out, come say hi. I'll be down there. A lot of the guys in the chat I know are here, so they'll be down there too. So if you decide to go, it's an awesome. Even if you like, don't drink, don't want to eat, just come say what's up. And more importantly, your money goes to the CCA. CCA, they fight for our rights. They fight for fishing rights. So they're a great group. A lot of the guys in here, they're the members of the board, but they're out there making it so we can fish, guys. They're fighting the fight, and they're winning battles too. And we need people like that. So, it's hard for us to go out and we bitch about it, when all of our fishing gets shut down. But these guys are out there trying to change legislation and doing a lot of good work. So go out there and support them. You get a year membership. You get a lot with that, but it'll just be fun. I went last year, and live music and stuff. It's cool just getting to hang out with you guys. So if you do come, you see me at one of the tables, come say what's up. It'd be cool to meet you guys. I definitely encourage you guys going. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Pohukai Oos, what's going on, man? Welcome to the show. Oscar, heading to the islands tomorrow. Which islands? Coronados? I'm curious to see how it's going, what they got popping off over there. Doug Rubin, Elswinner, just got back from the launch ramp. Talked to a guys in a Parker 2120. He landed a nice bluefin, about 150 pounds on the troll with a new Mad Mac lure, 200 gram pink. The corner was the hot spot. Nice, dude. Thank you for the info. Leonard Oos, what's going on, Marshall? Welcome to the show, Oos. Let's see what else in the news. We've got, that's pretty much it news-wise. We went out fishing, as you guys know, Wednesday. So we went out. So that was yesterday. We went bluefin hunting. So Kevin took us out. It was Kevin. Brian likes to fish. We kind of went, had the armada of boats. It was pretty cool. And it was a long trip. I think we were out there like 12 hours. And it was pretty long. I think we did probably about 120-mile round trip. Hit a bunch of spots. And we got it. We found a lot of them. I don't think anybody hooked any of them, but we had shots. Joey Bassman was with me on my boat, so he won the giveaway, and it was cool. Sorry, Joe, we didn't get on any fish, but it was still a lot of fun. Just going out there and learning and stuff like that. But we had a crack at them. Me and Joey saw them early in our first stop. They popped up, and there's a decent boil. They came up, I'd say maybe 12, 10 fish. We didn't really see any foamers. And then later in the day, we saw them again. They were kind of boiling. They were boiling up on patties, eating this. We saw the small bait under the patties, and we'd be sitting there waiting, casting on them too. And we'd see them come up. So they were popping up. They were kind of jumping up. We weren't fishing deep really. We were looking for the boilers. I believe Brian and his crew. So there was 3 crews. There was Sea Samurai. So Kevin was out there fishing reps on his boat. I think he had Marshall, Roy, down in SD, Leonard. So I think it was them 3, and then Zachary Riggs, Roman, and Brian, and then I had Joey Bassett on my boat. So we kind of spread out. And I know Brian got on some, and they were chasing foamers. I think they had a good shot at them too. So we kind of got separated. They were up north a little bit, and then Kevin, I think, got on them later. But nobody was able to hook one, man. It was typical bluefin fishing. We find them, but our group, we never really saw like just that nuts ball where they come up crazy. It was, we saw sporadic. They were there. I mean, they're definitely out there. So that's definitely a positive note. It's not like we went out there and didn't see anything. We were up middle of the ocean, right? You can't see land, and we were in the right spot because we'd be sitting there fishing a patty looking for them. But of course, 100 yards away, you'd see just 2 or 3 kind of pop up and then disappear. But it was good stuff. Oscar going to the Coronados. Nice, dude. Yeah, I'm curious to see that report, see how it is, see how it changes. I need to use my Mike Long jig. Do whatever it takes. Adobo, what's going on? Oos, welcome to the show. Glad you could join us down in SD. Oos, yeah, he was on the trip too. Leonard, we seen them, but we couldn't get him to bite. Yeah, they were there for sure. They're finicky, man. Those bluefin, it's like sometimes they show up and they seem to eat better. Actually, I don't know, because the ones that I've seen all this year have been biting deep, either on jigs or dropper rigs and stuff like that, the live bait. I know we were looking for the surface stuff. I personally haven't had too much luck on the surface stuff, but again, that hardcore boil it wasn't popping off. At least not yet. We'll get out there again. We'll get them. Just do. That's the thing with bluefin fishing, right? It's not a guarantee. So, but when you get them, you get them. It's all worth it. You get a big fish, even a small fish. If you like tuna, the fight of tuna, even the value, like you try to go get one of those in the market, like a whole fish, and you're talking, $2,000-$3,000 fish you pull in that you get to eat and enjoy. So it's high risk, high reward for sure. It was still a good time. Freight Dogs Fishing Adventure, welcome to the show, man. What's your favorite boat? My personal boat?
Or your favorite charter boat?
Or my favorite charter? I mean, I like the boat I own, but there's lots of good charters, man. I've been on a lot of them. I don't know if I have a favorite because it's like I have luck. We got, we're doing a trip on the Malahini. So, I like Captain Bill on the Malahini. I've been on the Liberty. Been on the T-Bird. We caught tuna. Freelance. Been on, well, that's up in Freelance is my boat. up in Orange County. I mean, that one for sure. That's like my definitely. But San Diego, I can't even. I've been on a ton. I've probably been on almost all of them. I don't think I have charter boat. Yeah, there's not the Grande. I've been on a bunch of times too. And there's not one boat where I've been like dissatisfied with. You know what I mean? And then the Liberty's pretty good. We had some good success out of that. But just like anything, I've had success on a lot of those boats, and I've had skunks on a lot of those boats. Had good days on the Grande, and then come back with nothing on the Grande. The San Diego is a great boat. San Diego is really good. I haven't been on that one, but a lot of people tell me, and that one has a really good reputation too out there. And I think they're out of Seaforth Landing in Mission Bay. But yeah, man, you can't go wrong. Stephen Enos, welcome to the show. What's going on, man? Malahini said his report today that the Coronados are starting to bite on the yellows. That's awesome, dude. For those of you guys that don't know, we're doing a charter on the Malahini on September 24th. I got a few tickets left. A lot of these guys are going. It's $300 if you want to get on the boat. It's the submission at sea, so it's only people from the show or people that we know. So I'm hosting it. We're having giveaways. So your ticket, $300, includes the whole trip, food, some drinks. I'm going to give you guys some jigs. We're going to have giveaways, sponsors. I think we got shirts coming in. A lot of good stuff. Captain Dan might be making pizzas. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be good. And I guess you can go to submissionfishing.com if you haven't bought a ticket. Go ahead and get one. Snap them up while you can. But yeah, it'll be fun. Be out there with Captain Bill. So that's later in the year for sure. I'll find out tomorrow personally. Yeah. Curious to see those reports. Man, they change day to day. I haven't had really those great days in the islands though. I don't know. I feel like the islands are kind of a little burnt out, not burnt, but maybe overfished a little bit. It's like they used to be great, and it's hard. Obviously, when the yellowtail come in, it's still good because they're a pelagic fish. They'll come and go, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like those big calicos really they're like they used to and stuff like that. Carl Black, Oos, what's going on?
Free Dog says he's the honest friend.
Frey Dog, you're the honest friend. Are you mullet man? Let me know. Or are you not mullet man? Are you somebody different? Eric Lehman, Oos, welcome to the show. I forgot my water. She's gonna go get it for me. So let's see here. Let me bring this up. We had a YouTube poll. How many of you guys got in on that thing? So basically, I wanted to know how you guys switch your reels. And I know I did this poll like freaking weeks ago, and I just had never got to it. So I just thought it was interesting. Who did what? Let me pull it up here. So the question was, what handle placement you use your reels. So the options were, this is the handle. So what handle placement do you use? We had 44 votes. So casting right, spinning left. That was one option. Casting left, spinning right. That was one option. Both right, both left. So the casting right, spinning left, that was the biggest. That had 45% of how people fish. And that kind of makes sense. That's like that seems to be the default, where how most of them come, where the casting reel crank on the right and then the spinning reel comes on the left. That's pretty standard. And that was the most. The second most was both left. So both people with the handle on the left. And then both right. That's how I fish. So I fish both handles on the right-hand side. Both spinning and casting. I like my handle on the right. And then the last was casting left, spinning right. And that kind of makes sense. So thank you guys if you participated. 44 voters in that. We had some interesting comments too. Like, what does Zach say? He said, left-handed feels more comfortable casting controlling the rod with his left hand, crank handle. Peter 86 said 3 casting, all spinning left, 1 casting, 1 traditional, all right. So I figured the casting and traditional were the same thing. He's fishing casting and conventional differently. I haven't heard that one. That's pretty funny though. It's a good, interesting mix though, because you ever gone on a boat with somebody and you're using their gear and it's set up differently. and it's totally different than what you're fishing, man, it's such a pain in the ass. So you got to bring your own stuff, man. Sea Samurai says the Coronados are not fished much anymore. Is that a good thing, or they're not fished because they're dead? Or is it good that they're not fished much anymore and then we're going to go back? Frey Dogs Fishing Adventures, that is. What's up, Mola Man? Yeah, Viana was telling me about you. Said you do some jiu-jitsu down here in Carlsbad. So roll into our gym, dude. We'll roll. It'll be fun. Then we'll go do some fishing, some jiu-jitsu and fishing. Last year, my buddy limited out before 9 a.m. and the sea lions were horrible at times. Yeah, dude, sea lions are the worst. Last boat limits of yellow was on at the islands was Liberty 3 seasons ago. Yeah. The yellows, it seems like they should still be there, right? Like, they're pelagics. They kind of come and go, but you never know. I guess if the food's not there. But it changes. I mean, we've talked about this many times. Like, the fishing year to year is not the same. Even what was I going to say? La Jolla is not the same, right? Some years it pops off. I think 2020 was pretty good, but 2021 kind of sucked for yellowtail. This year hasn't been great. I've been seeing some, but it's different. It changes, ebbs and flows. I know we've gone over it with yellow albacore, bluefin, yellowfin. Last year was crappy for yellowfin and Dorado, but year before was good for them too. But bluefin's been good, so that's one of the good things about fishing, though. It's kind of like you. I like the fact that it kind of always changes. You know, it's not a guarantee. You got to always be looking, always, stepping your game up and changing it up. I'm converting to all left. Oh, you're going to the dark side, huh? DJB Oos, what's going on, man? Welcome to the show. Arnie, what's going on, dude? Welcome. Spotty at best. Yo, what's going on, man? I almost caught a Cobrina on the fly this morning. Dang, yeah, that would have been sweet. Got to show us those pics. Yo, Chinator Oos, what's going on, man? Yeah, man, that's awesome. The problem is there are too many tuna pens at the Coronado Islands, and the bait boats rape the whole area and then get the bait for the tuna pens. And oh, interesting. Some good insight. Never really thought about that. I live in Oceanside at the lagoon. Yeah, man. I'm down for that. I live up here in Carlsbad, so ironically, I don't fish up here that much. I go to the lagoon and skunk out all the time, though. That's like my thing. Dude, it's so hard to fish there. Carlsbad Lagoon's brutal. I mean, I can catch fish, but normally I'm only there like a couple hours. I'll walk around it a few times, but so hard, man. Short pounding in general is hard. You guys are savages to do that. Slowly learning to reel right-handed. Fly fishing and spinning has made it difficult muscle memory to overcome, but jigging 4 hours last night for 3 hours is helping. Yeah, that's good. So whatever you're comfortable with. I like having the rod in my left hand and the reel in the right. And switching it, yeah. But I know a lot of people are like the other way. They're diehard. More people fish that way with their rod in the right hand. And I'm right-handed too, but I hold it, I guess, left-handed. I don't know. It's crazy. Slow pitch the surf. Yeah, dude, I slow pitch the lagoon all the time. Got some halibut. You get spotties out of there. You'll have to try the surf. A little 10 gram or something right there on the jetty. Yeah, I've been seeing it, dude. I've been seeing the fish, like even the perch and stuff in medium. It's crazy, especially now with the was it like some of the croakers and stuff coming in closer, some of the bigger surf fish. That'd be cool. I know the secret spot. I've been there a few times. You know what the problem is with the secret spot is, dude, so many rocks. Like you couldn't jig there for sure. The Lucky Craft work there, like the jerk baits and the stick baits work pretty good when they stay on the surface. But man, there's like, and I think that's one of the reasons why it's such a good spot is like it's surf, but there's like so much freaking rock there too. I probably see his house from there. Jimmy Ramiro Oos, welcome to the show. Tell us your greatest fishing story. Yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah, the lagoon is burnt, no joke. The problem is, we guys were talking about the Carlsbad Lagoon. The problem is they dredge it, and what happens is every time they dredge it, it just like it destroys it, you know. So they have to dredge it because it'll fill up. If you see every couple years, you can see the sandbar through the middle, and it gets so high it doesn't even become a lagoon anymore. So I think it's like every 2 years they dredge it, they take the sand out and pour it back on the beach. But so it heals itself and it gets good. The eelgrass starts growing, the fish start coming back, but it takes like a year. So then you get like 6 months of fishing, and then it gets dredged again and it just wrecks it. So it's like destroys the habitat, and then for the fish to come back, it takes a long time. But the time they come back, you get a little window where like the fishing is actually really good, but then they come through and dredge it again, and it's just like it just starts over. That's why it's tough. It's just there's no ecosystem that's allowed to like live there and grow for years and years and years. So I think the lagoon a little further that they don't dredge is a lot better because it's just the life, it sticks around, you know, it grows and it becomes a better fishery. Now that the power plant has gone, has the water in the jetty fishing shut off? It's always been crappy. I think even when the power plant was there. They still do desalination and stuff like that. So I imagine they're still like cooling and recycling water. I don't know if it's as warm as it was. Yeah, I don't really know how that goes. Yoshinator surf session. I'm down for a surf session. I need somebody though that's better surf fisherman than me. I'm not a really great surf fisherman. I've gone a few times. I haven't done. I've got some surf perch here in Carlsbad. I've got the opalite. I know how to catch them like on the jetty, but I'd like to do more surf fishing. I'd like to learn more surf fishing, I should say. I'm definitely not a black belt in surf fishing. That's for damn sure. The huge red tide last year killed off. Yeah, dude, that's true. I went down there and walked on it. There was like Garibaldi, like these catfish, there was thousands of dead fish along the shore. So that is true. The thing is though, I didn't see any like I didn't really see any dead spotted bay bass or anything. It was mostly Garibaldi. And those weird like saltwater catfish were like all washed up. But I think the stand bass probably just jammed. No halibut either, so they must have split. But whatever fish just lived there is done. Just bought some 40-gram sumo and assassins. Heck yeah, man. Oh, you must have bought those today. We sent those out today. Awesome, dude. Hopefully you get bit. Watch some of my videos. Go try it out. I'm finishing up a Lucky Craft surf. Yeah. Lucky Craft, no joke in the surf, dude. All right, guys. Let's see. Go through the Instagram questions real quick, and then we'll get into those meat and potatoes. Let's see. Joey Basson 24 asks, do gear ratios play a big role when it comes to slow pitch jigging? I think so. I prefer it's just less work because the more crank you get and the more retrieve you get, the less cranks you have to make. I think that goes for like any reel, really, because even like surface irons and stuff, because you can always slow down the rate, but I like having to be able to have a bigger crank. You know, when you're have less of a gear ratio, you got to crank more to like get faster. With a big gear ratio, you can at least slow it down, but you got to know you've got a big gear ratio. I know a lot of people not a lot of people, but a few people purposefully get smaller gear ratio reels because it forces them to fish slower, which is interesting. So if you do have high gear, you got to remember to go slow, but I like having that extra gear. But when you're pitching it and coming up, I think it's more helpful because it's less you have to retrieve on the crank down when you get a better pitch, I think, with high gear. So I think high gear is better. Higher gear you can get, I believe. Joey Basson, don't leave your keys with Kevin. Yeah. Those guys that don't know, we went out on the trip and Kevin, he backed my boat in, which was cool and super helpful and launched me. The thing was he kept my keys and I didn't really think about it. So we launched, he parked the truck and then he went on his boat. But we got separated from Kevin Wednesday when we went out fishing and we didn't hear from him. We lost radio connection, or like he could hear us and we couldn't hear him. So I ended up finding Brian at some point. I got separated from everybody and I couldn't hear him. So I found Brian because I knew his coordinates, and then we went in, but I didn't have my keys. So I had just called Jessica and she brought him down. You know, Kevin, dude, he was out there for
Best wife ever.
She says best wife ever. You know, Kevin, he wasn't coming home until dark and we were already in. I'm like, oh, I better make a phone call here. So Kevin's got my truck keys. I think I had a spare. Joey Basson, man, you got all kinds of questions. Joey go out with me for a trip for 12 hours, doesn't ask me any questions. Comes on Instagram and he's full of them. Just joking with you, dude. Does color of your jig play a big role in targeting certain species when they're zoned in specific color? I don't think so. I don't think color matters all that much, to be honest with you guys. I think shades are more important. I think having glow or no glow is important. I honestly, I don't know if I'm not a huge color guy, to be honest with you. I don't have like one color where I'm like, oh, this is the one. I think whether it's got like the one behind me, the Golden Death, if it's got the black bars and the gold, it's the contrast that still produces the flash. And same with the glow. When it's got a glow and a color, basically they're seeing the glow and the gray by the time it's down there. And then I got some like the light bait that don't have any color, and it's just more of a solid profile. So I think it's kind of the contrast between the two, maybe a dark and a light. But I think whether it's blue or green or whatever, I think we've got our favorites, and there's some we like. But I'm not one of the guys that's like huge hooked on color. I'm not like dedicated to a certain color. I get colors that I like. Just in general, when I buy fishing gear, I'll be like, oh, I like that golden one with the yellow water. I'm like some pink one or scrambled. Like there's certain colors I like just because I like them personally, to be honest with you. I don't know. I don't think they're that big of a deal for colors. Did you see people talking about, was it Kevin had somebody on the CCA podcast? I think it was the guy from M&M Rods. And he was talking about, you guys check that out, by the way, the CCA podcast. Him and Chris were talking to, I believe, is one of the owners of M&M Rods. And he was talking about how he catches everything on black jigs. We've had, who was it? Is it Jeff from One Cool Tuna was talking about how he fishes. He likes them plain, like doesn't put any color on them. All these people catch. So I know mint, right? Mint's like that's the color for mint and scrambled egg. That's like the Southern California slow pitch color, but I mean not slow pitch, surface iron color. But I don't think it matters. Make a long story short, but I do like colors because I like having different colors. One man kayak fishing. Top 3. Oh man, I think that's too long of a question. Top 3 rod and reel setups that will work for kayak, bay fishing, and La Jolla charter boats. I would say M1 inshore, 1 ounce to 3 ounce with a 200 size bait caster. For me personally, then I would get a slow pitch rod, 150 to 300 Phoenix Titan with the Penn Fathom 8, and then probably a jig stick, something you can cast on. Like I've got a custom jig stick, 9-foot fiberglass rod with a Fathom 15, and that's my casting. And a lot of people pair those with like the Tranks 400, 300, but any low profile work, Komodo, Penn Fathom. So that could be a whole nother show. We won't get too far into it. Stealing moonfish. What did you catch? We didn't catch any fish, but I caught a lot of knowledge. Going out offshore, even though you don't fish, for these guys that don't know, I'm a new boat owner, been on plenty of boats, but finally being able to captain one, and the knowledge of being offshore, learning from people like Kevin and Brian. So I did catch a lot of knowledge. The time on the water, learning positions, learning where to fish, what to look for. Honestly, that stuff is invaluable, because even though those trips I didn't catch fish, I saw the fish. We know where the fish are, but once you learn and get some of that confidence and knowledge, if you apply the knowledge and stick with it, I mean, you can't replace that. That's going out with groups that teach you and make you better, like this group, the MMFC. That's so hard to find, especially in the fishing community, right? Everybody's so tight-lipped about their spots and everything else. So I got a lot of knowledge, and that was totally worth it. I mean, I'm still burnt out from it, but 12 hours is a lot, man, getting pounded on a boat. But it was good stuff. Not for Kevin, man. That's like a half day for Kevin. 12 hours that's just starting the day. Neo no 6. Let's talk bluefin. Where are the bluefin now? They're here. They're about 40 miles out. I can't tell you exactly where. You're gonna have to go find them. Both trips I was on, they were getting caught there about 40 miles. Obviously, they're in Mexico. You can get them a little south. Those spots you can go. You can go south to like the Coronados. And then if you got a Mexican license and then go out probably 30, 40 miles. I can't tell you where I was last time because somebody took me out. And like I said, I don't burn up other people's information. So you're going to have to ask. They're close though. I tell you what, go out on a weekend, just follow the boats and you'll find them for sure. What kind of tacos? I like Rito. What kind of tacos do you eat before fishing? Keto tacos, dude. With that cheese crust. Hey, you guys got a lot of questions today. From the chat down in SD, I'll be beach camping in Carlsbad this August. Oh, yeah, dude, let's hook up. Yeah, for sure. I know we tried that last time, Roy. We'll definitely do it. Free dive fishing, you come shark fishing with me and my friends. Yeah, I was talking about Joey Basson about that. I'd love to do some shark fishing. Graham, oosh, what's going on, man? Sorry I'm late. It's all good. Hope all's well. Did you get your yak back? What was the diagnosis? I haven't. It's been like 4 or 5 weeks. I got a call. My yak split, been leaking, got 2 cracks in the bottom, and I think they did like a warranty on it, but I haven't heard back. They said it was 3 to 5 weeks. I think we're past that at this point, so I got to call them and check in. I was going to do that today and got sidetracked. So yeah, I haven't even had a kayak for over a month now. It's been crazy. I've been forced to shore pound and drive the boat. Steve Mendoza, you mean colors are important? We should get all the colors now. Yeah, that's what I mean. Buy every single slow death color in existence. You're right. That's funny. Arnie Seiko said, too bad Bill Varney not having Surffish Clinic, South Carlsbad, Bolsa Chica, farther south he'll go this year. Oh, it's too bad. Yeah, I'd love to do one of those seminars. That's good stuff. All right, guys, we got to the questions, got to the news. If you have any questions throughout the show, just let me know. Yeah, so basically, I'm just going to go over a lot of the stuff you guys probably know. A lot of it maybe you don't know. Things I've compiled as far as going offshore. So I've done many trips long before I got into kayaking. I was going offshore since I was a kid with my uncles all the time. We go out to like Coronado. Before I even lived in San Diego, that was like the thing we did. We went to Coronado. We went to Catalina Island. We'd go offshore there a lot. Davies Locker. I mean, that was the place. And even when I moved out here, I'd say like 12 years ago, we did a lot of offshore trips. So boats were kind of my thing. Like I'd love to go fishing. I didn't go as much, but like offshore trips. Even currently, I mean, I've already done, I think a couple overnights this year. We got a lot. Last year I did like so many trips. So I've been on a lot of boats. Now being a captain, I've been going on offshore trips myself, kind of taking people out for the first time and stuff like that, and then learning the offshore. But I think there's some important things you need to know in order to catch more fish and just to be comfortable in general. The more comfortable you are, the more fish you'll catch, the more knowledge you have. I mean, that's really the goal, right? Is to have the best shot at catching these things. So, yeah, we'll get into it. Frank, I'll get to this question halfway through. Remind me while Jessica put it in.
Advice on the water column?
Yeah. So let's see. The first tip I have is sunblock options. So when you go out, people get toasted all the time. People get burnt. And a lot of people don't use sunblock. But here's the thing. I don't like using sunblock. And you probably shouldn't be using sunblock either. Whenever you see people wearing the face mask that I have in like all my videos and long sleeve shirts, the reason we do that is it's sun protection. It's sunblock, but it's not sunscreen. So you're using an actual physical sunblock. Usually the sunglasses, the hat, and then something covering your face. Ideally that covers your neck, and then something long sleeve and even pants. And the reason that is the suntan lotion or the sunscreen, I guess what you can call it. It's not good for fishing. For one, it kills, if you go on a boat, it kills the bait. That's why I tell you, don't ever reach into the main tank because you got your hand all slathered up. The chemicals get in there. You've been to a pool where like people jump in after they've been all slathered up and you like see that oil slick all around them. It's the same thing. And imagine you get it on your hands and cast out, or you do a drop. I mean, you've literally put suntan lotion like friggin' all over your reel, all that oil, and you wonder why you don't getting bit. You got to think, if you're using braid or even mono, which is absorbent, you send that down. I mean, you're sending down a slick with chemicals on it. It's pretty much repelling fish. I mean, it's not a fish attractant at all. And you're really hurting your chances of getting fish. And not only that, the sunblock, you forget to put it on, right? And you have to keep applying and reapplying. So if you're serious about fishing, get the long sleeve shirt, get the face cover, get an actual sunblock that you're not having to worry about, that you're not having to forget to put on, something that's always there and always protecting you. Unless you go out fishing twice a year, you just want to hammer 32 beers and come home looking like a lobster, take your shirt off. Some people do. Some people I know like that. That's cool too. And I got nothing against that if that's your jam. But if you're there to fish and catch fish, cover up, cover your body. Don't worry about the sunblock. Don't even mess with it. It's just, you're going to forget about it, I guarantee you. And it's not going to help you out. It's going to get on all your gear. It's going to get on all your bait, and it's going to ruin your chances. So get the long sleeves, get the long pants. You can get stuff thin that breathes too. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there that lets the air in and out, stuff like that. So that was my first tip. Second one, seasick meds. If you guys are going out and you haven't been on a trip, I know I asked Joey Basson this, is make sure you take some before you come out. And he said, I don't get seasick. I got sea legs. And he was fine. He didn't take anything. But if you have never been offshore, you should take something before. Bonine is probably the best. There's Dramamine. I see people take the patch. Jessica's got like these new wristbands that she uses. If you got your sea legs and you got your sea legs, that's fine. But if you haven't been offshore, boats are different too. Small boats, they chop around, they get choppy. I see people go down all the time. They get sick and they think they can maintain, or they don't think it's that bad. But once you're seasick, like, you're done. Your day's ruined. Now you're definitely not catching fish. Some people fish through it, but a lot of times they lay in the inside, or they just lay down. They got the towel over their face, and it's just a horrible time. Now, ideally, you wouldn't want to take anything, but that becomes a hard thing, because at some point you have to realize if you have your sea legs or not. And you can actually get seasick and overcome it. It's kind of it's a learned thing you can do, where you go out enough and you end up not getting seasick anymore. It's kind of crazy. So the more you do go out there and fish, it's better. But if you're just going out one time, I would say take it. And it's kind of a catch-22, because at some point, if you don't want to take the stuff, I quit taking it just because I was always sleepy, and it was terrible. I'd fall asleep. I'd take Dramamine, and I'd pass out. I'd be in the galley every time we moved. I would just pass out. And I never got motion sick. I don't get sick from roller coasters or anything. And one day I just didn't take it and found out I was fine. So I can go small boats, big boats. It doesn't really affect me. But I used to do it all the time just because I didn't want to mess with that noise. So you got the sunblock, the C6, the food. What food should you guys be taking? You should always take food on the boat, especially on the small trips where people don't have food. A lot of these boats have galleys. It's not that big of a deal. Even still, and the kayakers, this goes for kayakers too, right? What do we always carry? Like nuts, trail mix, jerky. That is like the food. It's high protein. Nuts are like the highest, one of the most calorie dense foods you can eat. And they don't take up a lot of space. But make sure you've always got something to eat. You don't want to be out there starving, keeping up on the calories. And same thing with water. Got to have a ton of water on you. Make sure you've got water. I always take electrolyte powder with me that I can mix in my water. So it's got like magnesium and potassium and stuff. If you've been sweating a lot, or if it's really hot, I'll dump one of those powders in there. I mean, that's pretty much the basic stuff. Some of the things you guys should know. And then setups. So how many setups do you bring? I know that question comes up a lot, and there is really no rule of thumb. I would say probably 3 setups is what you want to do. I'd bring a top water setup, and then I'd probably have one set up for a top water for like live bait, like a fly line setup, I should say, because almost every trip you go on, people are going to get live bait, and you want to fly line something. That's like, fishing 101. That's what everybody does is the live bait stuff. So make sure you got a fly line set up, and then a deep drop setup, whether you're jigging or you're going to, you need some way to get like to the bottom of the middle of the column. That may be slow pitch jigging. That may be yo-yo jigging. That may be just putting on a weight with a live bait, but you're going to need something set up so you can get deep. And secondly is a top jigging rod for like surface irons, poppers, and stuff like that. And you should have your bases covered. I mean, outside of that, those three, I usually bring two of each of those. So I've got sizes amongst those. So I'll bring two top waters, two jigging rods, because I've got different sizes even amongst those tiers. So I'll straight up bring 6 rods on a boat, one for every setup. But you want to kind of cover everywhere that you possibly could be fishing. When you get the rental rods, it kind of sucks because you see it a lot where something happens and the rental rod is set up for one thing, and then the fish aren't even there. It's set up for fly line and they're biting 100 feet down. And I see a lot of people at the rental setups just not getting anything, and then they're sitting there fly lining a bait, and it's like there's no fish on top. And sometimes if the deckhands are cool, they'll tell them that, but then they got to re-rig the whole damn setup, right? Then they rig it for them, and what happens? The bite changes, the fish start coming up and boiling on top, but now it's like they got to fish the fly line again. So they have one rod, the rental rod, and it's like when you're not keeping up on the thing, I like to be able to just grab it and have what I need. You know, if you come up on boiling fish on a patty, I like to just grab my rod and have it ready to go. I'm not rigging anything up. After the boil goes down, they go underneath. You can throw that rod back, throw something down deep, and try to catch them on their way down. So be prepared with enough rods and enough different setups to cover all your bases. And sometimes bring something light. If you're going to go inshore or it changes, make sure you've got your bases covered there. If you're renting rods, there's not much you can do. If you're just starting out, I mean, that's fine. You got to start somewhere. But if you enjoyed it, or you see people, missing fish and stuff, just think about possibly getting a separate setup that maybe something different than what the rental rod setup has. So if the rental company's got something big and heavy and you don't have too many rods, maybe get something that is going to be different than what they're providing you, so that at least you're covered. You don't got to have the 6 rods, at least 2. You want to be able to just transition something you can put weight on and something that you could probably fly line with, is 2. The other thing is, I think this is an important one. Anything that you can do for yourself is going to benefit your fishing. And that what I mean by that is the more helpful you can be without the deckhands. Now the deckhands are there and they do a great job. They get the fish, they take it from you, they tie knots, but the more of that you can do, the better off you're going to be. If you can unhook your own fish, you can land your own fish, and then bleed your own fish, kill them, brain them, give them the ikajime. I can guarantee you that the deckhands on the boats will not be doing that stuff for you. They'll usually get it, but if you're not just standing there, holding the fish, if you can unhook it yourself, you got your pliers, you can take it to your bag, you can stab it, you can give them the number, the faster you're going to do, right? If you backlash your reel, if you know how to get a backlash out, know how to tie your own knots, anything you can do where you don't have to rely on the deckhands, you're going to get better opportunity at fishing, because there's only so many. Sometimes there's 2 on a boat. Maybe there's 3 guys out there. Well, if there's 40 people on a boat and half of them are rental rod users and they're all having issues and stuff, it's going to be hard to get their attention a lot of times. So work on knowing like how to bounce a fish, when you can bounce a fish, when to call for a gaff. And then when you get it up, be able to take care of the fish yourself. Know when to hold it. If it's a sculpin, right? Like it's a poisonous fish, you got to know those sort of things. Find out what fish you can lip and what you can't lip. You don't want to put your finger, try to lip a halibut or something with some gnarly ass teeth. I mean, you're going to get chewed up. If you can do it to some bass or some rockfish, it'll just speed things up. So make yourself more knowledgeable so you can do more things. And that way you're not relying on more people to do it. There's more time you got in the water, more time you got that line in the water, you're definitely going to be better off. So that was one thing I definitely learned. As I learned and I started being able to do more things for myself, it's a lot more enjoyable and just a lot faster too. They're like, you need help? You're like, nah, I'm good. You can go help somebody else. And then always know what you're fishing for. So look at the fishing reports before you go out, and that'll help you with your setups too. But that way you're not blindsided. Look at the fishing report, or even just call the landing before you go out and be like, hey, what did they catch? What we fish for? Be like, I'm going on the Malahini. What did they have yesterday, or what did they have? Or when you get there, look at the fishing chart. Ask the deckhands, ask the captain, ask the people there what kind of fish you're looking for, or what you're going to be fishing for that day, because it still might change. They might have been going for rockfish or something, but today they decide they're going to go for the yellowfin or something. Maybe they got a tip. So you want to be prepared. that you have the right stuff. You want to bring 3 setups that aren't for anything you're doing. You're going for thinking you're going to the islands and they're going to go hunt for bluefin, and you've got 50-pound gear or 20-pound, 15-pound gear. You're screwed, So make sure you know what you're going for. I know that sounds simple, but I see a lot of people just geared up with the wrong stuff. And let's see here. Tackle. Pack light. I'm guilty of this one. I have a heavy ass tackle bag.
I was gonna say, is your tackle bag considered light?
Yeah, it's not light. I carry way too much stuff. If there's one thing I'm guilty of, it's this. And this goes in because the parking is trash at all fishing places. No matter where you go, trying to find parking is a nightmare. If you're like going in the winters and stuff, it's not a big deal. You go down to some of these landings in the summer, dude, it is a pain in the ass. In Orange County, up here in San Diego, it's the freaking worst. And you don't want to have a big ass tackle bag that you got to carry like a quarter mile to the place. And then even on the boat, you're lifting it back and forth. Like you don't need, this goes back to knowing what you're fishing for. If you're fishing for tuna, you don't need all this like rockfish gear and all this stuff, just 100-pound weights just eating up your bag. And I'm guilty of this. And this is the one that I probably need to work on, because I tend to just take everything and I end up using like 3 things out of it, or the same lures, just different types. But yeah, that's a bad habit of mine. Same thing on my kayak, man. Sometimes it's like my tackle bag is so freaking heavy, and it's like I just need to unload this thing. I don't even use like 80% of it. That's a big one. And then probably I only have one more, and this is the only landing that has decent parking in C4. Yeah, that one's pretty good, Arnie. True, 10 pounds worth of weight. Dude, mine's like 40 pounds. One of the this is the biggest one. So if there's one tip that I want to give you guys, out of all the tips that I've learned offshore, that's the mistake I've seen people make, is to dress warmer than you think it's going to be. Wear layers. Don't skimp on the jacket. Don't skimp on the clothes. When you see the weather is like 70 degrees, that's like 70 degrees on land. By the time you get to the shore and the coast and it's 62 degrees and the boat gets moving and it's getting sprayed, it gets cold. It is way colder out at sea than it is on land. And even days that you think are warm, once you get in shade or once the wind starts blowing. But I see this so much as people forget. They forget to bring the jacket, or they're in like a sweater or like a windbreaker, and it's just way too thin, and people just freezing their ass off because they kind of they go outside and they're like, oh, it's not that bad. I'm not going to dress that warm. And by the time you get out there, you can always take the jacket off. You can always take the sweater off. You can always take layers off. Like I'm bringing sweaters, windbreakers, jackets. I've got like 3 different jackets and layers. You can take pants that you can unzip, like those dorky dad pants that you can like make into shorts. But always dress warm. Even if you don't, just bring a jacket. Just bring one with you. I guarantee you guys will be so thankful that you did. I every single trip this happens. Somebody falls prey to it where they're just freezing their ass off because they're like, oh, it's so warm out. And then you get out on the water and it is like, it's frigid cold. It's crazy. And the boots go along with it. And get deck boots, guys. When you have wet feet, to compound that, when you're out there and you have wet feet and it's already cold, it's going to ruin your day. So get deck boots. Even if you don't have to go to even get the expensive deck boots. Just get some rain boots from like Walmart. They're not even that different. Just something to keep your feet dry. Go get some rubber boots. I've seen them. Gosh, where did I see them? I saw like somebody had a whole bunch. I think it was like Walmart maybe or something. They had like a whole bunch of rubber boots. They were pretty inexpensive. You don't need to get the Grundens or what are those ones with the extra tough. They're nice. I have a pair and I like wearing them, put some new soles in, but get something that keeps your feet dry, dude. Don't go out there in the tennis shoes and the socks. Once your feet get soaked, like it's game over, man. It's being uncomfortable is probably, I think, one of the worst things that you can do when you're out there fishing. Being cold, being wet. So just mitigate those. Being sunburned, being dehydrated. These are all things you can mitigate. And it was a lot of tips on a lot of stuff, but if you apply some of those things, those are things I've done offshore that have changed everything. Made me more comfortable. made my life a lot easier. And then when you're comfortable, you're catching more fish. You can focus on fishing instead of being like, oh, I'm miserable, I'm seasick, I'm sunburned, I'm hungry, I'm wet, I'm cold. No, be warm, be covered, and just fish. And when it's all you got to worry about is fish. That's really the goal. What can you do to keep you fishing longer? So that's those are my tips. Those are my tricks, and hopefully you guys learned something about that. Kind of long-winded, but I think they're important because I see a lot of people making a lot of these same mistakes. And I'm like, dude, I've been there for a lot of them too. But you can make a difference. Yeah, just ask Jessica. We went fishing in Florida, or no, this was South Carolina over Christmas, right? So we had a fishing trip booked. She's like, oh, I want to go see my family. I'm like, okay, well, I just want to go fishing. So she booked the charter, and
it was 70 degrees.
It's just what she was saying. She's like, oh, it was 70 degrees out, or it was like really hot in the house, I think. So it felt warm, right? So we go out on the boat. I bring a jacket with me. We get on this boat. It's tiny. It's a freaking center console. And this dude was like, oh, we're going to go search for bull reds offshore. He's hauling ass, dude. The water was flat. We were going like 40 miles an hour. It was freezing. So Jessica, no jacket. She's sitting there like freezing her ass off, curled up in a ball strip. So what do I have to do? Of course, I have to give her my jacket. So I give her my jacket. It was the worst so when we stopped and we're in the sun, it was fine. For 2 hours driving, it was like I was in a living hell. It was terrible because Jessica forgot her jacket. I'm just like, why would you not bring a jacket? Because she was like, oh, it was warm. It felt so warm. She was like, it was so hot out that I didn't think it would be cold on the water. It's crazy. It always happens. Next time she gets nothing from me.
I was pregnant.
She was pregnant, so I guess I had to give her my jacket. I didn't want to though.
But you did not complain about doing it until right now.
It's terrible. We catch up on some questions here. Do you have a favorite pair of split ring pliers? Dude, you want to know what the bomb split ring pliers are? Is the ones from Walmart. They're like $12. TVR or TRV or something like that. I think they might even be the house brand. They're the best, dude. They're like so they got a super sharp end. They're really good. I think Aaron Kruger turned me on to those, dude. I was like, they're legit too. They're red. They're pretty small. You can get them at Walmart, so they're inexpensive. They're pretty good. My second favorite, probably just the ones that I have like a good Shimano pair. But check out those Walmart ones. When you use Doug Rubin, when you use your GoPro, do you upload to the cloud? Do you have a subscription, Doug? Yeah, I do upload to the cloud. Mostly, so I do have a subscription. Yes. The only reason I upload those is just to save them. I don't edit from there or anything. I just plug it in and upload them. That way, if like I ever lose something or need it, like I have it on there as like a form of backup. But I don't ever use that cloud stuff to like. Sometimes I'll look at the previews, but I don't really use it. If that makes sense, I upload it into my computer. I have a big hard drive, and then from there, I edit the videos and stuff like that. But it's nice knowing like it's uploaded. So if like I accidentally erase them, because I've got like 6 drives, and if like I click the wrong one and format it, it's like, okay, I know at least I got it on the cloud. So it's just a backup. DJB said it's frustrating that some anglers insist on fly lying when fish are 200 feet deep. How do you overcome the lack of situational awareness by others? You can't, dude. You just catch fish and be happy. I know exactly what you're talking about, man. But I don't get frustrated. It's up to them, man. Like if you want to fish, that's what you want to do. I mean, yeah, especially if you tell them like the fish are deep, but they insist on fly lying. I think a lot of them just don't know. And I think sometimes just helping them, being like, hey man, the fish are deep. You might want to think about throwing a weight on there. If they don't want to listen to it, I mean, that's fine. But I think a lot of times like, oh yeah, really? Yeah, I think we've all been there, man. At least I have. I know I've been totally fishing the wrong stuff and watching other people catch. It happens. Muto, next time we go offshore fishing, you can only bring what fits in your pockets. Well, looks like we're not going fishing anymore, Doug. Just kidding. Yeah, dude, you have plenty of gear. I don't even think I use my stuff that much. Oh, Arnie was saying, yeah, hey, everyone, pay attention to what they did at the Point Loma landings. Ace Parking has pulled the guard, and now you have to pay an Iron Ranger. Spots are marked. Yeah, so you have to go. That's right. You got to put in your license plate and stuff like that. So they used to have a place where you went in, you would pay the guard, and they'd give you change and stuff. They let you through. So now you park, you go put in your license plate number. So that is different. So just remember that. So you don't want to forget to park thinking you're going to go meet the guard, and they're not there. Down in SC, I remember that one charter where they could use only a Coke can worth of tackles. That was funniest for all alibis, hooks, jigs, plastics. That's funny, dude. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Steve, how many jigs do you take? Bro, I take them all. Hundreds. 32-pound tackle bag must be. Dude, it's loaded. I take so many jigs. It's crazy. Yes, dude, the KVD precision. That's it, dude. Frank, you're the man. Those are the ones, the KVD. Those are so good. And they're cheap as hell. They're legit. Those are honestly my favorite split ring pliers. They're so good. Yeah, dude, that's the dope right there. That's the split ring plier dope. I'm glad you remember that, man. That's it, 100%. Captain Adobo, 9 likes. Oh, I saw a lot more ooses than nine. Come on, guys.
I'm showing 22.
Jessica says she's showing 22 Adobo.
Kevin says soon they'll be carrying the diaper bag and it will weigh more than your tackle bag.
I'll be carrying the diaper bag. Will be way more than my tackle bag.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't know, dude. You felt my tackle bag. I don't think diapers weigh that much. Maybe. Kiwi relax. Oos, what's going on? That's awesome. If you guys have any more questions, let me know.
We're going to talk about Frank's
Hopefully you learned something. Oh, yeah, I took up Frank's questions. For those of you guys that don't know, I'm still rolling out, but we have memberships now on the show. So if you want to be a member and you want to support the show, you can do that. We got a couple tiers. The first tier, you get a little belt next to your name. You get some ooh site. You get a bunch of emotes and icons and stuff like that. So that is a new thing. Fishy Hour had those, or Roman did on his other channel. But once we hit 1,000 subs, so if you want to become a member and support the channel, it's something you can do. We have different tiers. We got some of the mid tiers, but the small one isn't. I don't know if they're even. They might not even be live, but we're getting those worked out. So if they don't show up on the stream, we're gonna have like a lower one. It's gonna be like $3 or something like that, and you get the little belt next to your name. You get some icons and stuff like that. So some of that stuff's coming. I was toying with it. If it's not live yet, it will be pretty soon. So look out for that, guys. Yeah, that's different. So we'll hopefully got the memberships coming. Where's the link to the membership? If it's not on there, it's probably not live yet. I know I was working with it this week, filling some of the stuff out. So we'll get it in there. Just letting you guys know that stuff's coming. Let's see here. Frank's question. Did you put it in there?
Yeah, it's about Stephen Mendoza.
Frank had a question. I told you I'd get back to that one. Any advice in working the water column when offshore fishing? For example, if the captain is marking fish around 240 feet deep, do you work the jig 200, 300 feet? Yeah, definitely. Just go past where you need to be, and then, work it up. And then reset it. Depending on the drift, too, if it's like sometimes it scopes out too far, and you just got to reset. But, if it's 200, if he says you're at 240 feet, dude, go to 300. You're exactly right. And just work it through the column. That way you know exactly where you're at. If you haven't scoped out that much or kited out that much, just redrop it and then go another 100 feet and just keep working the column. If it's too far out, you got to reel it in, because you're going to think you're in the zone, but you're literally probably like 100 feet higher than you think you are. You got to be vertical. If you're out too far, it's going to be trouble. Or you can drop it, but you're going to have to let like 200 feet out, just like cover that extra 100 feet once you start getting scoped. That's good. Steve Mendoza, the super sticker. Oos. The first super sticker, Steve. Thank you, sir. That's awesome. Yeah, if you don't see the memberships, hopefully they'll be in there pretty soon. That's good stuff, dude. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. Kiwi. That's awesome, dude. Thank you so much. That's so cool. All right, guys, if you have any more questions, comments, concerns? If not, we'll get you out of here. Let me know where you're fishing this weekend if you're fishing. I'll be at Apps and Taps, like I said, guys. So we'll see you out there. Hopefully, I see a lot of you guys, and I know I'll be seeing a lot of you guys. Yeah, and then aside from that, I don't know if I'm gonna be fishing this weekend. I got lots of jiu-jitsu and stuff going on, and no kayak. Maybe I'll take the boat Sunday. We'll see. Good stuff, guys. Yeah, dude, this will be fun. I'm looking forward to it, Arnie.
Oh, Benji.
My wife, May, you and Jessica, cool gift. Oh, dude, that's awesome. Oh, you gonna be there Saturday? Hell yeah, dude. That's cool, man. That's what Jessica will love it. That's awesome. Well, yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys. Need more 2X shirts. I thought we had more, but I guess we must have sold out. Yeah, I don't think we ordered very many. We'll have to get some more for sure. Yeah, just wear the XL, dude. Just put it on like shrink wrap. Make it fit. Wear it like a medium. Happy early Father's Day. Yeah, dude. When is Father's Day? Sunday. Don't even think about that. Happy Father's Day, guys. All the fathers out there. That's awesome. I totally forgot about that. And yeah, before the next show, I'll be 40 years old. And my birthday's next week, so I'll be a year older. Father's Day will come up. There's actually a lot going on this weekend, so if you guys don't fish, I'm gonna at least celebrate it. Take your dads out fishing. Buy them some Slow Death Jigs. We'll throw in a Happy Father's Day thing. No, thank you, Brian. Yeah, guys, nice having you. Get out there and fish if you can. We'll see you this Saturday, hopefully at Apps and Taps. If you had it, $75, go get on there. If you guys want jigs, apparel, you guys want some hats like this, anything, submissionfishing.com. Check it out. Go to Submission and see if you want to fish with us. We got a lot of interactive stuff, guys, so just glad you're here, part of the community. Check out Fishy Hour Mondays and Wednesdays. And let's just keep fishing, man. 30, yeah, dude. Be the big 40. I'm an old ass man. Waiting till 40 to have my first child. Steve Mendoza, thanks again for that sticker. That's awesome, dude. We'll see you guys next Thursday or Saturday. Hopefully I'll see you then. All right, guys. Oos.